Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan, free on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, AUDACY. Thanks to Anne-Marie Moss from the Vince Lombardi Cancer Foundation for joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all today. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. I'm in for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. He is off for the rest of the week. He's got like life to do. Like, he's got important things to do. He's very important. I guess like I was the past 10 days, 8 days.
You were gone too, off adventuring. So
I was. My brother-in-law got married, so we were
Congrats.
splitting our time between Palo Alto and San Francisco. San Francisco, man, is cloudy all the time.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It is August, and it is like sunny, and then 10 minutes later, the clouds roll in, and it is like cloudy, and people are putting on sweatshirts and jackets. It's like,
did you drive down that one twisty hill?
We did drive. We did. So we did. So, all right. So I'll yeah. This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. We are at Stenny's, and we want to thank our very good friends. Let's make sure I get this right. Our very good friends at Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. It's delicious. Sun Cruisers are fantastic. So grab one on your way to anytime you go to a Milwaukee baseball game. So my mom's best friend from college, and you know how old I am. So, you know, my mom is a woman of wisdom.
I see.
We will say that. Her best friend from college lives like literally on that block, like at the bottom of Lombard. That block that is, if you don't know, there's a block in San Francisco where you drive, you go from, you go sideways basically down the hill. It's in lots of movies, and so anyway, so we went and looked at it and we saw it and we took pictures in front of it. And then a couple days later, we were out with my sister-in-law and my nephews, and my younger nephew was like, I really want to see Lombard. And my wife went to school out in the Bay Area, and my sister-in-law used to live there, so they know it pretty well. So there's like supposed to be a line that you're supposed to like drive behind to go and drive down it. And my sister-in-law just like drove right up to it because she's like, I used to live here. I know how to do this.
So just breaking the rules and all of that.
Yes,
I guess
yes,
if
absolutely.
you know what you're doing, and
if you know what you're doing. But that's like the crazy thing about driving in San Francisco too, is like the angles of the streets are insane. The ups and the downs, and it's like, I mean, you really got to be on your toes. So
Madison's kind of like that though, so you should have been fine.
Madison is not like that at all. And I love Madison, and I lived there for 6 years. But no, Madison is not. Madison is way more tame compared to the angles of the streets in San Francisco and the angles that they built houses on and built garages on that people have to get. I mean, it's like 45-degree angles where you're like driving. I almost think driving up is scarier than driving down, because like driving down, you can control your brakes. Driving up, you feel like you're going to flip backwards. Like, it is a mess out there. So I'll tell my plane story in the 4:00 hour as well. But we have some breaking Brewers news that we got to get to and we got to discuss and really dig deep into here. Every day the Brewers send out their game notes before the game, and of course they're playing tonight at 6:40. Quinn Priester on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers, but not so fast, my friends. So first they send out news and notes, and the biggest news, the breaking news, Trevor McGill is on the 15-day injured list with a right flexor strain, retroactive to 2 days ago. So he is eligible to come off in 13 days. A right flexor strain. So I'm going to put that in the Google machine, see what AI says. A right flexor strain is an injury to the muscles or tendons in the right side of the body that bend a joint, such as the hip flexor, or this wouldn't be the finger flexor. This would be the hip flexor. Symptoms vary by location. They can include pain, swelling, bruising, tenderness, and difficulty with movement. Recovery time depends on the severity of the strain, with mild cases taking a few weeks and severe cases requiring longer, potentially with surgery for a complete tear. So this is not a complete tear because this is a strain. But this isn't good. This is not good. Trevor McGill, the closer for the Brewers, placed on the 15-day injured list. I will say that better August 27th than September 27th. We talked about this on the Mason Crosby show earlier today about getting hot and getting this hot in August and winning 14 in a row, and that's great. But you don't need to be hot in August. Like, that helps to get the lead that the Brewers have in their division and in the league, in the National League, and it's great. But you need to be hot in October to win. It's why we do see wild card teams, both in football and in baseball. When they get hot, they win a couple games. They make some noise. And so the Brewers need Trevor McGill healthy in mid to late September. Anton writes in the dugout, if it's mild, it should take 1 to 3 weeks to heal. And I think that's right. I think that's what we feel about, that's why he's on the 15-day injured list. And I feel like he should probably be okay. It's still not great news. It still makes me worry that they're going to overuse Uribe and Shelby Miller, and that I'm a little nervous about Jared Koenig after his performance. We did, though, also get the news, and this one bums me out. This one doesn't matter as much, but this one does bum me out. Logan Henderson, who August 8th went on the injured list with a right flexor tendon strain, so not dissimilar from what Mr. McGill has. He had been cleared to initiate some work earlier this week with the hope of beginning a throwing program, because I think we all kind of hope that Logan Henderson might be an arm to throw in the bullpen in September and in the playoffs. He has been moved to the 60-day DL. It's suggesting that he didn't respond well to the initial workouts. He has now been shut down for the remainder of the season. So if you were hoping that Logan Henderson, who's been great for the Brewers this year, was going to be one of those guys to help in the bullpen, Logan Henderson out for the rest of the year. The Brewers did make a corresponding move. We'll get to that in a second. They signed Eric Fetty, longtime pitcher for the Reds. The Brewers just actually faced him earlier this month in Atlanta. So we'll get to that. Also, Drew Wagner let us know, our Milwaukee baseball insider, Forbes Sports, that while Quinn Priester is the pitcher and will be the pitcher of record most likely tonight, that Andy Ashby is going to start the game for the Milwaukee Brewers tonight as the opener. And Andy Ashby's a guy who can go 2 to 3 innings. Like, he's not a one-inning opener if things go well. To me, the question is, when you look at Arizona's starting lineup, I know that Corbin Carroll's there as a lefty. How many lefties are in that first and second inning? Because that's generally how they have used the opener for Quinn Priester. Like with Washington, when he was right before the All-Star break, I think it was, they used an opener for Priester, and they hadn't done that in a month or so. But Washington has 3 lefties starting, in their starting, to lead off. So we will see how that goes with Ashby on the mound tonight. It does, the hope there is that Ashby could go 2 or 3 and Priester could go 5 or 6, and then you have a bullpen rest day, that the bullpen doesn't need to be worked tonight. And that would be the hope going into a day game tomorrow and then traveling to Toronto Friday night. No days off. I know that that Monday the Cubs had the day off, so the Cubs are now on a half game schedule with the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 5.5 back right now. 6.5 back? 6.5 back.
6.5 back. I have some Packers news.
You have some. All right, I saw
with somebody named Micah. It's not Micah Parsons.
I also saw this news. I will let you break it for us, Charlie.
All right. So the Green Bay Packers have officially signed Nick Niemann, like we mentioned earlier in the show. According to Paul Brettel, he was on Wisconsin Sports Daily just a couple days ago.
Friend of show, absolutely.
He announced the Packers released cornerback Micah Robinson as the corresponding roster move to make room.
It leads me to believe that Nate Hobbs is healthy. If they're releasing a cornerback, although I don't think Micah Robinson was anywhere near getting on the field. The surprise there is that Goody letting go a current draft pick, because it's more often than not, the Packers have a long history of not wanting to get rid of of at least giving guy a year and seeing if he can play in the league. And so getting rid of Micah Robinson, I do think Micah Robinson is the kind of guy that sticks out to me as like he might find another home. He might land with somebody else, whether it's practice squad or not. I did take note, and we'll get back to the Brewers conversation very soon. 414-677-1250. How do you think the Milwaukee Brewers will survive with Trevor McGill on the injured list for 2 weeks? I did want to make a note. I did write this down. No one who was released by the Green Bay Packers was claimed by anybody else. And the Packers did claim Nick Neiman from Houston. That's the one guy they claimed, unless we find out about others. I think Ted Thompson really prided himself, and I think Goody carried on that tradition of when they cut guys on cut day to get down to 53, almost always 2, 3, 4 guys would get claimed by other teams. And that would show like organizational depth. That would show that they're doing a good job with not just with their drafting, but with their picking up of undrafted free agents. And I think it does stick out a little bit that for the Green Bay Packers, for some teams, I don't think it sticks out that much. Like nobody's picking up a Colt. Colts stink. And maybe they did. I have no idea. It's a terrible example. I just threw it off the top of my head. But that no one was released. No one who was released by the Green Bay Packers was claimed by another team. Does show that maybe the depth on this team isn't great. We talk about the cornerback room. We've talked about that a lot. We talked about how like the first 6 or 7 offensive linemen are really good, but then it gets really bad. Like it falls off a cliff. And so like the fact that they don't have guys 50 through 55 that other teams want is like, I do wonder if there's any so Micah Robinson was what, the 5th round pick?
I believe
was
so.
he 5th or 6th? Okay. I do wonder if there's any, they didn't announce it because
7th round pick.
7th round pick. Okay. So I do wonder 7th round pick, you normally wouldn't get anything for that. But I do wonder if there's any, did Goody make a couple calls to other teams, say, hey, we're going to drop Micah. He was our 7th round pick. I know you were also interested in him. Would you give us a 7th round pick next year for him? I think it generally doesn't work that way, but maybe he made a couple calls before they released him. Who knows?
Well, and as it looks right now, I don't think anything is official, but Kalen King looks like he's going to be picked up by the Carolina Panthers just to be on their practice squad. So that's kind of the only one that anybody gave a shot to. But I was kind of surprised even yesterday when they did do the cut day that Micah Robinson was on the roster over a Kalen King at that point.
Okay.
It didn't really seem like that was going to be the case based on what Kalen King was showing in the preseason, based on what we saw from Kamal Haddon in the preseason as well. Another player that got cut over a guy like Micah Robinson. I know Micah Robinson is a draft pick from this year, but a 7th round pick is pretty close to being undrafted. And I don't know if really you can give the benefit of that over some of these players that have been on the roster, or a guy like Kalen King, who was a 7th round pick himself by this Green Bay Packers team. I mean, it just felt like it made more sense to give him that spot. So when they decided to make this corresponding move, it was more like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
So you need to go back and listen to the first segment of Pack a Day Radio today with Andy Herman and Tommy Wirtz, because they talked about that point exactly. And it plays right into the conversation you're having. Because Andy Herman, before the 3rd preseason game, was Michael Robinson's going to make it. Kalen King might not. After the 3rd preseason game, he totally flip-flopped. He's like, nope, Kalen King played better. Michael Robinson could barely even get on the field. And I think what it comes down to is, man, preseason games are meaningless. The whole training camp and preseason is meaningless. These guys have so many thousands of hours of tape and experience with these players that none of this matters. This is why I don't learn these guys' names. This is why I say it over and over with Mason. I don't care. It's great that you met some of these guys and you're friends with some of these guys and you're in the locker room. That's your job. But I don't care as a fan. I don't care about any of these guys. because none of them matter. You know what matters? The 53. That's what matters. The 70 doesn't matter. The 98 doesn't matter. The 150 doesn't matter. So I don't take the time to learn these guys' names because I don't want my heart broken. I don't want that. There was a kid from Whitefish Bay dropped yesterday, and it's like, now I know who JJ Lippy is, and that's great. But like, I'm kind of bummed for JJ Lippy, and I don't know the Lippies, but I probably have seen them at Sendix. Like, I probably walked past them, and it's like, yeah, it'd be great if your kid made even the practice squad for the Packers. And I'm bummed that he didn't, but life happens. But I think that it just shows that training camp doesn't matter, preseason games don't matter, and that they do matter because obviously you guys were all right about Micah Robinson. That maybe Kalen King deserved to make the team over him, but maybe neither of them deserve to make the team. Man, it does make me feel like that cornerback room is thin, though.
Yeah,
like that.
Not very confident.
That does worry me a little bit. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. It's the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. We are going to get back into the Milwaukee Brewers conversation. Trevor McGill put on the injured list, 15-day IL. If you haven't done it yet, pick up Abner Uribe in fantasy baseball if you're in your fantasy baseball playoffs or at the end of the year, because he's about to get a whole bunch of save opportunities over the next 2 weeks. And the goal is that by mid-September, McGill's healthy and rested and ready to roll. The Brewers also did pick up Eric Fetty. I'll talk about Eric Fetty in the next segment because, man, Eric Fetty is like complete trash. This guy is awful. And so maybe he just needs to change the scenery. Maybe he'll end up this will be his third team this year. He started the season on St. Louis. He was with Atlanta. Now he's going to be with the Brewers. He's available tonight and will be available with the team. So we'll see what that looks like as Eric Fetty joins the team. And so we'll get to that conversation when we come back with Trevor McGill and Eric Fetty. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's right here. We're at Stenny's today on 2nd and National. You know where Stenny's is. And if you don't know where Stenny's is, you should. And I'm looking outside right now. We're inside. I did just get the what is it? The Millie cheesesteak, mac and cheese. I'm very excited about that. But I'm looking outside right now, and it is glorious. It is 77 degrees. It's partly cloudy. But the sun's peeking through. I see some sunlight. High of 77 today, low of 61 tonight. Few showers potentially developing late tonight. Lows overnight in the low 60s. Your fan weather forecast is brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. So for all your heating and cooling needs, you know who to call. Call Utke and get out there. Also want to remind everybody that if you have a fantasy football draft but you haven't decided where to have it yet, you got to do it at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Private room, television screens. They've got the big board with all the stickers. They've got a podium, 3 drink tickets for each team. So if you're in a 12-team league and you own the team by yourself, 3 drink tickets for you. They put out a buffet of food. Like, it's amazing. So just go to their website, Google Potawatomi Sportsbook, and they are amazing. I know that I did bug Sparky last week about us having one. So Charlie, Tommy, me, Jack, I guess. No, Jack, you're in. Mason will do it virtually, but all of us at the fan, we might do an internal one there. I'm trying to make that happen, but that would be an absolute blast with our friends from Potawatomi. So, yes, we will talk about Trevor McGill. How nervous are you that Trevor McGill is on the injured list? We've seen the Brewers bullpen over the past couple of days spring a couple of leaks. Trevor McGill, the back end, now being put on the injured list. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Stenny's on 2nd and National. My hero. Watch him as he goes. This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder, in for Sparky today, just like he was in for me a bunch over the past few days on the Mason Crosby show as I was out and about doing brother-in-law things. I had to go to FedEx and pick up the programs. I had to run to the shoe store to get his shoes shined. I had to run drink ingredients to the caterer. They hired a caterer and had like specialty, like they had the bride's mocktail and the groom's cocktail. But like we had to bring the ingredients to the caterer to make that. I don't know why that was part of it, but it was. So the mango and the kale and the pineapple and the bullet bourbon and the simple syrup. There was a cardamom old fashioned, and then there was like a kale pineapple mango smoothie. The bride is a big smoothie. She loves kale smoothies. It actually was really good. It was better with gin in it. I'll be honest. Yeah. That's how you do it. For those of you who are at a place with a mocktail, but they have alcohol, you can always embellish. There's nothing wrong with that. But congratulations to Joe and Jesse, an amazing wedding, and welcome Jesse to the family. And we're excited to have you. So this is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. We're at Stenny's on 2nd and National, where the shuttle goes to the Milwaukee baseball games, and you should jump over here and jump on them. And it's Wednesday, so you should grab the mac and cheese. I've got the Millie cheesesteak, not cheesecake. That's a whole different thing.
Interesting, yeah.
Yep, the Millie cheesesteak, mac and cheese. Let's get to the phone lines. 414-677-1250. Nikolai Lawfan talking text line. John's up first. John, you are on Wisconsin Sports Daily with not Sparky, but with Thunder.
Yeah, hey Thunder, good to talk to you. You hosts are mixing it up. You're not.
We are. We're all over the place, and just you wait for next week. I'm not allowed to tell you what's going to happen, but next week's going to get crazy.
Yeah, keeping it fresh, man. I like it.
You bet.
I'm getting nervous, Thunder. I'm getting, and that's
my nature. I don't think you're alone, John. I think there's a nervous train right now.
I've been at this fan thing a long, long time in Milwaukee, and we were at the Giants game Friday that we managed to win. Now,
right.
Trevor gave that one up, but it was a ball rolling to the backstop, kind of a leaky run.
Yep.
But we haven't talked a lot about this because the back end has been kind of getting themselves in some major trouble, but getting out of it. Like the game we won late in the Cubs series, we almost gave that one away late, but we held on to it. This team, we got to keep on scoring runs because this thing was going so well. I mean, you knew It just wasn't going to cruise to the finish line like that. Life isn't like that. But
that's correct.
I certainly wasn't looking for like a stint on the disabled list, temporary or not, for McGill. However, when your closer's approaching 30 pitches, I'm sorry. You got to pull him, and I know it's like a thing where you can't. He's a veteran. You don't do that, but the guy's laboring, and I just hope, whatever has happened to him, part of this is just to give him a break, and this is when they're getting into these way too long appearances on these, end of game situations, Thunder.
Yeah, John, thanks for the call. I agree with you. I mean, it is rough when you see relievers go 30+ pitches like that. Nobody wants that unless it's a guy going multiple innings. You want a 20-pitch inning at the most, if not even less than that. And this is now Pat Murphy's job for the next month, is really managing those arms, trying to figure out how some of those starters can go deeper into games. With Freddie, he's not going deep into games. Quintana can go deeper, but not that deep. Mizorowski, you're still watching his pitches, so you got to figure out a way that he can get more outs. Unless we talked about this on the Mason Crosby show today, less foul balls and more outs for Mizorowski. And we know Woody's on a pitch count too. So it's like, we love these guys. Like it's a great staff, but it does come with its shortcomings. And that leads us to that word that John started out with, nervous. There is nervousness right now. Let's go to KJ next. KJ, you're next up on Wisconsin Sports Daily.
Good afternoon, Thunder. Thanks for taking my call.
KJ, it's great to hear your voice, my friend. You bet.
Yeah, thank you. Listen, I'm slightly concerned with the Trevor McGill injury. It would certainly behoove the Brewers pitching staff, the starters, to go deeper into ball games, perhaps 6 innings, 7 innings. And I'm even more concerned, Thunder, about them overusing Abner Uribe.
Yeah, that is. I actually just, KJ, I literally just wrote that down on my sheet to talk about. So you go, but we are on the same page right there.
Yeah, and so you don't want him to go down as well, because then you're really going to be against it. So, they've got to figure out a way to do that, and they need to continue to play good defense and hit the ball and score runs, as you alluded to earlier. And if they do that, they're okay. Arizona's a good hitting team.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. And so is Toronto. When the teams are getting ready to, they're the second, they're probably the best team right now in the American League in terms of scoring runs.
They might be the best team in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. So, they're going to have maybe some difficulty making those adjustments until they figure it out. Pat Murphy does. But I think they're going to overall be okay down the stretch if they can get McGill back within that 10-day period.
Yeah, for 15 days in this case. Yep, KJ, thanks for the call.
15 days.
And, you're absolutely right. We look at the team stats, and we look at, the Blue Jays as a team hit 268, but the Brewers are second in Major League Baseball, hitting 258. You look at total runs scored in all of Major League Baseball, and the Milwaukee Brewers, as we've seen them climb and climb and climb, they don't hit the home runs that other teams hit, but they're second in Major League Baseball in runs scored. So they do score those runs. But with all that said, we as Brewers fans, Pat Murphy as the manager, we're absolutely going to be watching what toll Abner Uribe has over the next couple of weeks, because we know that guys can get overused, whether even when you don't want to overuse them, right? Even when the intent isn't to overuse guys, but the Brewers enter the 9th inning with the lead the next 4 or 5 days, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, Uribe's used a couple of those, then he takes a break, then he's used a little bit more, and it's all of a sudden his usage rate goes way up, and that's another thing to be nervous about. This offense has to keep running. We all agree that you can't just win every game till the end of the year, right? The Brewers aren't going to go 33-0 the rest of the way. So can they go 17-16? Or do you want them to go 25-8? Or do you just need them to stay afloat and keep that number 1 seed? So whatever Philly and Chicago does the rest of the way, the Brewers can go 5 games worse than those 2 teams just to make sure they get that number 1 seed and get that bye, and then really get everyone healthy at the end of the season. It's not easy. Like these are the reasons why Pat Murphy and Craig Counsell get paid the big bucks, is they have to make these decisions. We just get to talk about it. And we might know what we're talking about. Like, we've watched every game all year. I was talking on the Mason Crosby show today. We had a friend of mine, Andy Dorff, who's a native Milwaukeean who now does sports radio in Phoenix, Dorff on Sports. And he was talking about, like, he's trying to find a way to watch every game. And he's never felt that before. Like, maybe in 18 or 19, he said, like, maybe he felt that way, but not with as much fun, not with as much interest as this team has garnered locally and nationally. And I think that we're all caught up. So we all are in our feels when McGill gets put on the injured list, when Logan Henderson is out for the year. Let's go to Rocky, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. It's the Nicolay Lawfan talking text line. Trevor McGill on the 15-day injured list. How nervous are you? How do you feel about the challenge that awaits the Milwaukee Brewers over the next month? Rocky, you're on Wisconsin Sports Daily. How are you, my friend?
Good, Thunder. How's it going?
You know what? We're doing great. We're day by day, just like everybody. We're day to day.
Yeah. So there's three things behind this. Obviously, winning 14 in a row is a good thing after you've just won 11 in a row.
Yep.
But you got to use your key bullpen pieces during those stretches.
Yep.
So that overworking, along with 19 games in 18 days, doesn't help. And then you've got starting pitching that maybe 2 days a week can go 6 innings. They've lost DL Hall because of one of the guys that could eat innings out of the bullpen along with Ashby. And now is their setup man for the closer going to be Shelby Miller, who's coming off surgery himself or an injury himself?
Probably.
Back-to-back days.
Yep.
And it would be a lot easier if Craig Yoho wouldn't have come up twice this year and just blown chunks all over the field.
I think we'd all feel better if he had pitched like he did in spring training or the way he pitches at AAA. Sure. I think we'd also feel better if Logan Henderson was, if Logan Henderson was an arm they could count on out of the bullpen, that would have been great too. Like he was on the 15-day DL 2 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden he's out for the year.
I don't know that Logan Henderson would have been in the bullpen, though, if he would have been up here.
I think he might, if all the starters were healthy, I think he might have been, but again, he's another arm that could go 2-3 innings at a time. That would really help this starting rotation that can't go more than 6.
Well, that's why we got to hope Robert Gasser can get through his rehab within the next couple of weeks so that he's available later in the year.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like Gasser's a guy that all of a sudden, we've talked about his rehab and talked about him coming back, but all of a sudden he's a guy that we're paying attention to in a way that we weren't before and might be counting on. I mean, he might be that kind of transaction in September that really helps this team if he can do what we all hope he can do.
And I think the magic number is 24 to clinch the best record in baseball.
I'll take it. That's a great number to have on your radar because nobody else in baseball has a magic number like that for best record in baseball. So I will take, Rocky. Thanks so much for the call.
Yep.
So Rocky drops off. If you want to jump on 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Lawfan talking text line. It's Mitch Thunder Nelles with you on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. But today we're at Stenny's at Second and National. You heard it, straight from John, KJ, and Rocky. Like, everybody's nervous. Everybody's under control, though. Nobody's losing their brain. But everybody's a little concerned about what the next 2 weeks is going to mean for this pitching staff, both the starting rotation and the bullpen as we move forward with this Brewers season, which has been magical, but is coming with a cost in terms of injuries. I mean, we haven't seen Jackson Chourio in a month. Well, he could make a big difference. We talked about how this team is second in Major League Baseball in runs, and they haven't even had Jackson Chourio for the past month. I mean, that's a crazy thing to think about. Like, that doesn't make any sense, but they've been able to do it. The Brewers, you look at their schedule coming up, and they've got, Arizona tonight and tomorrow's a day game. The Brewers then go to, this should be like a series that like baseball, I feel like baseball kind of messed up in the like that it's not a highlighted series. The best team in the American League and the best team in the National League, the Brewers are at Toronto. But again, there's a challenge there. Like, you're going to play in Toronto. And then you come back home and you play Philly for 3. And Philly is tied for the second best record in the National League. You get Pittsburgh, you get Texas. Texas is a good team, though, people. Then they play St. Louis, and St. Louis is always tough. Then they play the Angels. I mean, listen, everything is tough. You know, the last week of the year, they go to San Diego and finish against Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati could be in a wild card fight. San Diego will be in a fight with the Dodgers for the NL West at that point, and in a wild card fight. So this doesn't get easy. I think one of the things you look at when you look at those games is, so they're going to play. They've got Arizona. They play the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, and Monday the 1st. They have off Tuesday the 2nd in the middle of a series against Philly. And I don't know if that's a weird Labor Day thing or whatever that is. But they have a day off there. They then play the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. They're off on Thursday, September 11th. They then play at 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and then they're off again Monday. So they do get some days off in September. There will be some days off, some days to reset, as opposed to this stretch in August. But it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. The Brewers are going to need all the guys who are hurt right now to come back healthy, to come back ready to compete, and are going to be placed into high leverage positions right away. I mean, Robert Gasser hasn't pitched in like 7 years. Just kidding. But it feels like that long. And they're going to count on big innings from him if he can come back healthy. And if he can't come back healthy, then other people are going to be jumped into that position where they're not necessarily suited for that, but they're going to need to give that type of effort to the team. Charlie, you got some sound ready?
Oh, I got plenty of sound ready for you.
Oh, man. That is the response I was waiting for. That is the response I was looking for. That is fantastic, and that is just the way it should be. My name is Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder, and for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. And if you love Wendy's classic chocolate and vanilla frosty flavors, well, I assume you've heard of it by now, but if you haven't, just hold on to your hats. There are all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. It's the same creamy treat you've always loved, but now there's a flavor refresh. So they're Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie butter, caramel. Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, Pop-Tart strawberry. Mix and match. Go wild. You do you. No judgment here. This is a no judgment zone. Clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors, or fresh on the classic. It's gotta be Wendy's. Charlie's Sounds of the Day coming up here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder, in for Sparky. We're at Stenny's on 2nd and National, where it's hopping, and it's going to get even more hopping as people get ready for the shuttles to get to the Brewers games. And Tommy makes his appearance here as the leadoff show will be here from 5 to 6:30. And we're here at Stenny's with our friends from Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. So easy to drink. It's only 100 calories. So get your Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea today. This is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Wendy's live from Stenny's on 2nd and National.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan.
All right, Charlie, before you get to your sound of the day, it's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Mitch Nelles is in for Sparky today. They can't get me any more enraged than Eric Fetty being signed by the Milwaukee Brewers today. And maybe the Brewers see something in this guy that we haven't seen. But dude is 4-12 with a 5.76 ERA this year. Last year he was 9-9 with a 3.3 ERA.
That's pretty good.
A decent ERA with St. Louis and the White Sox last year. But over his career, he's just been a guy that the Brewers have feasted on. He's got a career 4.97 ERA. He's 34-54. His career WAR is 5.3. Like, I'm not, he might be an innings eater, and there might be a reason, and there might be something they see, but he's 32. He's not like he's a Quinn Priester that the Brewers see some potential in and can help mold him. I'm going to be, we used the word nervous in the last segment about how the pitching staff looks right now. I'm going to be more than nervous every time he gets to the mound for the Brewers, because I just think he is like pouring gas on a fire every single time. Get the can out, because the gas, he's Eric Gas Can Fetty in my mind.
I mean, I get it. I understand. But also, I mean, Chris Hook, like, that's all I really have to say. And it seems like
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He can kind of turn anybody around pretty, like, with the snap of his fingers. We saw it last season. I keep bringing this up. I feel like people, like, do not understand how bad Dallas Keuchel was before he got to the Milwaukee Brewers. And he was not good with the Milwaukee Brewers, but he was nowhere near as bad as he was for the past, like, 4 seasons prior to that. And I know that is, again, a very small sample size that we got from him, but you saw what he was able to do with that. Jose Quintana is another guy this year that I think most people didn't feel like would honestly still be in the rotation at this point in the season, with guys like Jacob Mizorowski making it up to the major leagues, with Brandon Woodruff getting healthy. He was supposed to be taken out of that too at some point, and he's pitched phenomenally because of the people that are around him and the coaching staff that he has. You know, I wouldn't put the jury, say there's anything about Eric Fetty right now that would dissuade me from thinking that Chris Hook can fix that.
That's fair. I think, and you're right. Chris Hook gets the benefit of the doubt, so we will watch that. Real quick before we get started with your sounds. Also, big day in the Thunder household. Little Rumble, first day of school, so I hope it went well, because she's probably home by now. Big Rumble got her braces off today, so
nice.
Smiles all around in the Thunder household. Charlie, hit it.
All right. First up here, we're going to hear from Aaron Nagler of A Cheesehead TV. He was discussing Nazir Stackhouse, the undrafted free agent that the Packers recently made a part of their official 53-man roster with the cut day yesterday. Aaron Nagler was breaking down Nazir Stackhouse's preseason performance.
First, Nazir Stackhouse. I know there's been a lot of excitement around the kid. He came in and blew up 2 running plays in a row when the number 3 offense was on the field. A couple of times, just absolutely blew up the point of attack. No place for the back to go. Really nice stuff. Hopefully, you guys know I always talk about make a couple of plays, turn some heads, put it on tape. Hopefully he'll start getting some more opportunities with the 2s and maybe then with the 1s. But, man, really promising start there from Stackhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're looking at, right? Like, it's potential. He's 6'4", 326. And as, I've said this before, and I learned this from a very wise man. You don't judge young players by how bad they are when they're bad. You judge how good they are when they're good, because that's how good they could be. And the thought is that Stackhouse could be really good. Like, he could be a nice piece. And if he can help contribute to the and give the regulars a rep off here and there, if it means Kenny Clark can play 80% of the snaps instead of 85% of the snaps, whatever that might look like, that'd be great. Like, that'd be fantastic. So I don't know that we know what that'll look like. But he has impressed at least enough to make a team as an undrafted free agent. And that always stands out a little bit when that guy happens. And so good for him. And hopefully it develops into something big and the Packers find a diamond in the rough. We all know they've had enough guys from Georgia who have kind of underperformed in the past few years. maybe they can get a Georgia Bulldog to overperform for once.
That would be nice. And also getting an undrafted free agent to perform under this regime, I guess, under the Brian Gutekunst would be nice, because that feels like something that the other GMs have been able to get, a Sam Shields type of player who can just come in and be a quality part of this team, or trading for a guy like Rasul Douglas, which isn't a undrafted free agent, but it kind of feels like that same kind of impact where he just comes out of nowhere. I feel like Brian Gutekunst, this could be his undrafted free agent now, and not just have that history of some guys working out in the draft, but not everybody that you scouted works out.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Next,
that's a good point.
Next up here, we're going to hear from Matt Schneidman, who was on Pat McAfee earlier today. We've heard a lot of his updates about the Packers roster
Yes, we have.
recently. Schneidman was on their show discussing Ed Policy and what he learned from his dad, Carmen Policy, when he was in San Francisco.
Ed's dad is Carmen Policy, who was the CEO for the 49ers when they were winning those Super Bowls in the 80s, 90s, whenever it was. So Ed Policy's dad was the one who traded Joe Montana to the Chiefs. And so that was like a very unpopular decision out in Northern California around that time. And so Ed has said the biggest thing he learned from his dad were how to make those tough decisions and live with them, basically. So he might be, that just goes in line with what I was saying earlier. He might be faced with a very, very tough decision about a head coach and GM who have been successful, but with all due respect to the 31 other teams, this is Green Bay, Wisconsin. They expect more than just, playoff appearances here.
Yeah, and I actually heard some of that with Schneidman on McAfee today. And I think the takeaway there is less about, that Policy has tough decisions to make, but that he's maybe not completely sold on LaFleur and Goody as the long-term solutions for this franchise. And that's why he hasn't signed them to long-term contracts. I think that's really interesting. I think that's a situation to keep our eye on in Green Bay. It sure feels like they've done enough to earn extensions, but I also think it comes down to what happens this year. And are the Packers going to be that good? Are the Packers going to compete for the North? Are they going to compete for the NFC? Are they going to win games in the playoffs? Are they going to defend Lambeau Field? Are they going to go better than 1-5 in their division? And those are all questions that LaFleur and Goody are going to have to answer before they get contract extensions. And if Ed Policy is the type of guy who's going to hold them accountable and not just, you don't just get a blank check or a free reign because you once won something in Green Bay, but you have to actually keep moving forward. I think that'll end up being that might hurt a little bit in the short term. But I think that ends up being a positive in the long term for the Green Bay Packers.
So Steinman talks about Carmen Policy trading away Joe Montana, making that hard decision. How much do you think Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur's future with the Packers relies on how Jordan Love plays this season directly?
I think a lot, because I think how Jordan Love plays will determine how well the Green Bay Packers do. I mean, if Jordan Love is mediocre, but the team goes 13-4 and gets to the NFC Championship game, and Jordan Love is just okay, I do think it has more. So maybe not that much, because I think that it depends how much you believe Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are tied into each other's success. I mean, if Jordan Love could be mediocre, but the team could go 13-4, I think that would be cause for rejoicement in that the team is really, really good. And now we just need to figure out Jordan Love. I don't see that as a possibility. I think if they go 13-4, it means Jordan Love plays really well. And if they go 10-7, it means Jordan Love's not that good. And so they can't, they go 10-7 and lose in the first round of the playoffs or don't even make the playoffs. And Jordan Love is good, but not great. That's not good enough. It matters more how the team does on the field than what happens with Jordan Love specifically.
That's completely understandable. Last up here on Charlie Sounds of the Day, we're going to hear from Syracuse head football coach Fran Brown discussing paying his son's tuition despite his son being good enough to earn a scholarship on the team.
He just worked, right? When I was at Georgia, he sat there and he came to work with me in the summer. He worked here with us before he went back his first year, my first year here. He worked with us all summer, and then he put the work in, so I'm blessed to have him here, right? But For me, it was better to have my son, not saying that he can't be on scholarship because he easily could be on scholarship, but it's easy for me to pay and then get another kid, right?
So who was that, Charlie?
That's Syracuse head football coach Fran Brown.
Got it. So his son is on the team, but they're paying for him.
Correct.
But he made the team.
He did, and
like he's not like paying to get his son onto the team.
He said his son is good enough, at least in that clip, to have earned a scholarship with this football team, and he's not giving it to him. Instead, he's choosing to pay his son's tuition.
Charlie, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that's an interesting take, and I think it's also probably pretty smart in this world of NIL to go and take that approach when you know you are a school like Syracuse, where the money for the football team probably doesn't equal the money for, let's say, the basketball team there, a team that has won a national championship in the last 20 years. Kind of feels like it would make more sense to give it to that squad. So you have to find these creative ways to make these decisions. And if I'm not his son, I would feel pretty grateful. And I would feel, honestly, kind of like he cares about the success of the program just as much as he cares about his son when I hear something like that. He's willing to pay his son's tuition while also freeing up space to make the team as best as possible. And I think that is a pretty selfless move by a head coach in this world where there's a lot of money floating around, and he could choose to save that money for himself.
So this makes me wonder a little bit about people who are of means and have the ability to pay for college. Like, should that factor into athletic scholarships or even academic scholarships? Like, you earned it, yeah, but if your net worth is X amount, is there someone else as deserving? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's fine. I think it's kind of neither here nor there. I think he earned the scholarship. He earned the spot on the team. They then decided to pay for his education, and someone else will end up getting the scholarship. I think that's nice. I don't know. I wonder if that's sustainable or if that's something that other schools, if I know that that baby Swift Kelsey in 18 years is going to be a D1 football player, would I go to Taylor and Travis and say, hey, we're going to offer you a scholarship? It's a little weird because you're billionaires. Would you consider covering the cost of a scholarship so we can offer someone else a scholarship who otherwise wouldn't be able to attend school here? I don't know. That's weird too.
That does seem like a weird thing to ask them. And I also feel like at the same time,
I mean, I would ask them that because they're billionaires,
right.
But then where do you draw the line? Like, is it net value of 200 million, 100 million, 2 million? Like, I don't know where you draw the line.
Well, and then you kind of have to, if you're the person running the school, worry about which other schools then, if you really want to have the Travis Swift hybrid out there on your football team, how many other schools are willing to just let that all go to have that kid come to their school? And then you're thinking about battling with them. I don't know. I think this is going to be a really interesting next few years when it comes to NIL. And there's going to be situations like that where big time names, big kids that are coming from these giant families are going to get opportunities at schools that maybe the other people deserve a little bit more. And I think you will see some changes like you're talking about, maybe not as drastic as you're talking about, but something to kind of make a line where some people deserve it and others maybe don't deserve it as much.
Right. And to back that up, I do wonder how this affects, kid doesn't deserve to be on the team. Can you pay your way? Like, could I pay, if I make $150,000 donation to Syracuse, could my kid get a spot on the team?
I mean, probably happens already, if we're being honest.
Right. It probably does. He is Charlie Usen. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. I'm in for Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. We're at Stenny's on 2nd and National today, where there's just the cutest baby ever. This baby is just so adorable. And yeah, I'm talking about your baby. Adorable. Absolutely. I'm a girl dad, so I get it. Absolutely adorable. See, I'm just here to bring smiles to the people. I love babies. I love babies so much.
I don't think I'm there yet.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay for you not to be there. But the Rumbles are 15 and 12. And so whenever we see a baby, I'm like, Mrs. Thunder's like, go get your baby fixed because we're there. We're done here, which is fine. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. When we come back in the 4 o'clock hour, we got some green and gold update, Packers practice, and some news and notes and all the good things we've been talking about today. All of the things we missed, that sort of thing. We'll see if Mr. Kmart himself, Tommy Wirtz, wants to jump on and do a little leadoff show preview. We are here at Stenny's at Second and National. They have a shuttle to all the games, so you should be here before games. And while you're here, you should be, of course, sipping on Sun Cruiser vodka iced tea, real iced tea, real vodka. It's smooth, it's easy, 100 calories, super easy, delicious, wonderful, all those good things. Green and Gold update coming up next year on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Stenny's on Second and National.